Freedom can be a difficult road to walk. When we long for freedom, when we're looking for a new place of life and health in our lives, often the road to get there can be very difficult and often painful. And this Easter season, we're looking at the painful road Jesus walked to purchase our freedom and what that means for us. Hi, I'm Kirsten, and if you're new here, I love Jesus, I love the Bible, and I am passionate about helping people move from places of exhaustion and burnout, places where they feel trapped, to God's freedom and the abundant life He offers. This season, I'm looking at the roads that Jesus walked to purchase our freedom those last 2 weeks of His life. And as He's walking towards Jerusalem, having made the decision to walk this road, knowing it would end in death, knowing it would be painful, knowing what He would get into, He still was resolute and chose to walk this road. But as He's walking it, we think of all the difficulties and the trials and the pain that's going to come. And He's using this opportunity to invest in His disciples. Kind of the famous last words, when you know you have a week left, you want all the important things to be said. And there's some that we would expect, like endure and persevere, and it's going to be painful, and be brave, and all of these things that would be really important to know leading up to the cross. But we look at John 15, and He has quite unexpected and yet beautiful words. John 15 verses 5 and following. I am the vine, He says, you are the branches. If a man remains in me and I in him, he will bear much fruit. Apart from me, you can do nothing. If anyone does not remain in me, he is like a branch that is thrown away and withers. Such branches are picked up, thrown into the fire, and burned. If you remain in me and my words remain in you, ask whatever you wish, and it will be given to you. This is to my Father's glory, that you will bear much fruit, showing yourselves to be my disciples. As the Father has loved me, so I have loved you. Now remain in my love. Isn't that beautiful? He's on the road to purchase our freedom. He's talking about freedom, and He doesn't say hustle. He doesn't say be disciplined. He doesn't say be fearless. He doesn't say take courage. He says abide. NIV calls it remain, but there's so many words that can stand for this. It's an idea of rest, to stay, to wait, to be connected to continue, to join together as if glued. It's an intimate connection, and it signifies a real and vital relationship with God. Remaining on the vine, remaining connected to the vine, means without that connection, you wither and die. And I think that's a really good question for us as believers. When we are disconnected with Christ, is it obvious? Is there withering in our lives? Or are we living our lives so disconnected we don't even know what that life looks like? This isn't just a lip service connection. This is one that shows an intimate, real, living relationship with God. And yes, it's an action. It's not a passive verb just to sit around. It's an action to actively be connected with Christ. But it's not one that requires hustle. It's not one that's painful. It's not one that is all up to us. It's one that says, God is the power at work within us. God is the one bringing life to us. We are called to bear fruit, but it doesn't come from our efforts. It comes from Christ in us. And the command isn't to follow all the commandments of the Bible. It's to receive God's love and live it out. As the Father has loved me, so I have loved you. Now remain in my love, is what He says. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that life-giving? As Jesus is journeying to the cross, He could be telling us all of these ways to get through difficult situations, but He says, the one that I need you to know the most is this: remain in me. Trust my love. I love you. Know that, believe it, trust it, and remain in that place. Because when we remain in God's love, we have confidence that He has the best in mind for us, even when it's painful. When we remain in God's love, we have assurance that we are not alone in this struggle. When we remain in God's love, we have His power at work within us. So we are never powerless. We are never at the mercy of the things around us. We are always empowered to live out God's best because of His love in us. So what does abide mean? It means a peace of knowing that we are in Christ and Christ is in us. It means a connection, that we are listening to God through His word and through prayer, and that we are talking with Him, that there's this life-giving connection there. It means an awareness that this is not by my power or my authority or my might, but that the road I'm walking is God's calling to my living out freedom that He's asked us to. This isn't dependent on emotions. I know sometimes it's hard to feel loved, but it's a knowing that we are loved and choosing to walk in faith even when our emotions disagree. This is something we do, an intentional act to follow Jesus. And I find it such a refreshing and beautiful reminder that even though the road to freedom can be hard, can be difficult, we walk it because God is at work within us and through us, and that He is the one that is doing the work and purchasing our freedom. And when we can rest in Him, that gives us the courage and strength and confidence to keep walking even when it gets hard.